when they were broken up. But the music video, actually, I just saw it, was dedicated to his grandparents, and his grandfather had recently passed away.
I'd love to see that video, though, because it'll probably be on the VH1 Top 20, which I haven't watched it in a few weeks, but it's really good.
The actual video is like 9 minutes long. It's a really long video, but it's really well done.
That could be why. This is an 8-minute song. So I'll cut that off. Yeah, it's an 8-minute song.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'll listen to the whole thing.
It's a very, very well written song. I love it. I think it's probably going to be one of the best of the year, and it's only like 4 months in.
Yeah, well, it happens. You know, sometimes great songs do come out at the beginning of the year. So, all right. Last week we discussed our top 5 worst moments in Devils playoff history. Am I correct?
Yes.
Well, this week we'll cheer ourselves up after the depression-ness of the weekend. And we will get into the top 5 best Devils playoff moments. So, Sal, why don't you get us started with number 5?
All right, my number 5, and I need some help with getting the details because I can't remember the exact details of this, but it was June 9th, 2003.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's actually on my outer mention. I remember this. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it was the Mike Rupp goal that gave us our 3rd cup.
Yeah, he got 2 in that game. He got 2 in that game, by the way.
Oh, he did? Okay, I was going to say, because I don't remember. Was that the game-winning goal?
He got 2 goals. He got the game winner, and he got 1 right afterwards.
Okay, and then also, was that his first goal?
It was his first goal of the season.
Okay. All right, that's what I thought. Yeah, so, I mean, that was a moment that, well, obviously it stuck out enough to remember what happened, but not the details, but
yeah,
that was one moment.
Win. It was a 3-0 win. Marty got his 3rd shutout of the series. And yet didn't win the Conn Smythe, which still annoys me to this day. I had that down in my honorable mention. That actually gave us our 3rd cup.
Yes, it did.
So, yeah, I remember that. Wasn't that your first official watching a Stanley Cup final game, you told me?
No. No, I did watch all. Well, the very first series, I only watched the final game, the 4th game. But the first one I watched was the 2000 series.
Okay, 2000. Okay, I remember you telling me that. So, okay. Well, we'll get into that in a little bit. It's on my list, so we'll get there. Number 5 on my list is something I was actually in the Continental Airlines Arena for. And this came out a couple weeks ago on the show, so I'll discuss it again here. It is Brodeur scoring a goal.
Yeah.
In versus Montreal. The empty net goal that was, I call it the first ever hug a stranger moment for me. Because that was, I didn't even hear the Hey song. That's how loud that arena got when that puck went in the net, because nobody expected it.
Right.
So, I don't know, did you see that one on TV?
Yes, I did, and it was a beauty. It was amazing. I do remember the I forgot what channel it was on, but whoever was announcing the game was
it was Emmerich. It was Emmerich who did the call.
Yeah, I was going to say it had to be Doc, but Doc was pretty excited about that goal too.
Oh my God, I watched it back on the replay because that's when they actually did replays at midnight. I taped it on the replay. Yes, videotaped it on the replay. And dating myself with that sentence. And I watched it back. I'm like, and unfortunately, it was great as Doc's call is, and it's one of my favorite calls of all time. It did not even pale in comparison to the energy in that building when that puck went in the net.
Oh, I can imagine.
So, and that was only game 1 of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They did win the series in 5, but they did win that game 5-2. So okay, number 4, Sal.
Ironically, that Marty goal, believe it or not, was an honorable mention for me. It wasn't even on my top 5, believe it or not.
It moved in the top 5 mainly because I was there.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So,
my number 4, June 20th, 1995, we sweep the Wings for our very first cup.
You had the date wrong.
Oh, I do?
It was June 24th, 1995.
Oh, interesting.
So I have it on my top 5 as well.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I have a plaque up with all the dates on it, and that's on there.
Oh, okay. Oh, my apologies. June 24th, then.
Yes, it's June 24th. So, no, I actually have that game on my DVD collection. They aired it in the Rising of the Cup series. So that was pretty cool to watch that back. It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a great night. Like you said, that was your first game.
That was my very first game. Yeah, it was the day that we won the cup.
Wow. Talk about an introduction. You can't get better than that. Unfortunately, it was 96 season right after it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But for me, number 4, it wasn't just one moment. This is a combination of a few things. I call it the 2000 comeback against Philly.
Yeah.
Being down 3-1. Larry Robinson gives that passionate speech to the media. Suddenly, the Devils win 3 straight. First team to ever be down 3-1 in the conference finals to win a series. And if you remember, Game 7 was the Scott Stevens hit on Lindros.
Yep.
And Elias got the game winner. And Lindros' career has never been the same ever since.
That was the second of my honorable mentions. Actually, was that Scott Stevens hit?
Yeah, well, I included the whole comeback. The comeback might be one of the best moments in the history of the team.
Yep.
It's the one that doesn't get talked about as much because of the comeback they did in the regular season a couple of years ago.
Right.
It's a shame that the conference finals in 2000 not get talked about a lot. So, all right, number 3, Sal.
All right, my number 3 is, well, now I hope that the date is right. It was April 26th of last year.
Okay.
And Henrique secures, our first playoff series victory since 2007.
Yeah, the double overtime one, correct?
The double overtime one.
Yeah, I have that in an honorable mention of mine. You got the date right.
I remember watching that game. It was like 1 a.m. or something like that. And I'm like, you know what? We've never made it past the first round in how many years now? And then all of a sudden, Henrique scores that goal like 5 seconds later. As soon as I was thinking that.
It's funny because I have Henrique at number 3 as well.
Interesting.
But this is actually the 25th of May last year against the Rangers.
Ah, yes.
The overtime game the overtime goal that finally ended the curse against the Rangers, finally got rid of the demons that we discussed last week, the Matteau goal, and just having Doc yelling Henrique made me happy. It was a smile from ear to ear all night long. So that was amazing. And you were texting me like crazy on that one.
It was a blur. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I remember you texting me like crazy. We were trying to keep ourselves awake for that one. So it was so fast in the overtime, if I remember. So it was over so quickly. All right, number 2.
All right, my number 2 was June the 7th, 2003, and it was Scott Stevens' hit on Paul Correa.
Oh my God! Well, didn't he come back later in the game?
You know what? I don't remember. I do remember him leaving.
It's in the DVD. The problem I have with this hit, and I remember this hit, trust me, I remember it. The thing with that hit was later on in the game, Paul Correa came back and scored the game winner. I remember.
Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, you're right. I do remember that.
I remember because of Gary Thorne's horrendous call. Because he yelled something along the lines of, the fans want one. It was so terrible.
Oh, all right.
It's okay, though. The hit was amazing.
Yes, it was.
Amazing. And, see, those hits aren't allowed anymore.
No.
You can't get away with those Scott Stevens hits anymore nowadays.
You're never going to see that again.
No, there's a lot of those in Devils history. That one, the Lindros one I mentioned earlier. There was one against Detroit. I keep forgetting who he hit.
The whole team.
Series. I don't remember anymore. It was in 95, but I can't remember who it was. But yeah, there's a lot of great hits like that. So that's why it was so frightening. I remember against Tampa in 2000 when he got the cut above his eye. It was 2003 when Stevens got the cut above his eye with the puck in his face. Remember that?
Right. Yes, I do.
So I don't remember what series that was. I remember it was against Tampa. I think it was 2003. But back to 95, at number 2, I have Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Nice.
We won our first cup with Neil Broughton getting the game winner. So that was one of those awesome trade deadline deals that brought Neil Broughton to New Jersey. Who, when I did not know my history yet, because this is only my second season as a hockey fan, to realize that we had a Team USA legend on our team. and he won his cup here in New Jersey. After, of course, he was on Lake Placid in 1980. So that's pretty cool to know that he couldn't win a cup in Dallas, but he won it in Jersey. Then also, Sean Chambers had 2 goals. I just really wanted to say his name. I wouldn't have Sean Chambers anymore. So, okay, what do you got number 1?
All right, my number 1, another double overtime thriller. It was June 10th of 2000.
2000. That's my number 1 too. That's my number 1 too.
Yep. I mean, that was another game. I mean, and we're talking 2000. So I was in high school.
So was I.
Yeah,
Finals
it was
week.
just, I was up for that game. My mom was
a
yelling
Friday
at me
night,
to go
though.
to bed.
This was a Friday night. This game was Friday night.
Yeah.
Because Game 5 was a Wednesday night. I talked about this last week. Because the triple overtime Game 5 was a Wednesday night, and we all came into school the next day drowsy.
Yep.
But Game 6 was a Friday into a Saturday, and the game ended on June 11th.
Yes, it did.
Such a long night. Such a long week. It's my number 1 as well. Arnaud from Eliash in double overtime to win the cup.
And like it was like 8. It was almost like half of the period, right?
Yes,
Wasn't it? So it was like
yes, it was surreal moment. What are the? Oh my god!
90 minutes of hockey.
Oh, that was a long week.
It was like a soccer game.
It really was. It was a very long week, and I try not to mention him on the show that often, but Gary was with me. And that was he stayed up for me that night. It was his birthday. So there was a lot to that, and then we graduated a week later, so that was cool.
Yeah.
So that was a great week. It really was. I did go to the celebration actually 4 days later at the Meadowlands.
Oh, excellent.
Which is actually the day I got hired by the Meadowlands to be an usher.
Actually, you know what? I think that was. I think I was for that one too.
You were?
I think it was either that one or
we weren't
the
friends
2000.
yet, so I didn't know.
Yeah, it was either that one or 2003. I can't remember which one I went to.
I went to both of them, so I went to both of them. 2000 was at night. So.
Oh, then I probably didn't go to that one because I didn't have a car at that point.
Yeah. 2000 was at night. 2003 was during the day in the beating sun. So.
Then it probably was 2003 that I went to.
I was in 2003 with Sarah, and that was a long afternoon. 2000 was fun because I kept running into people I knew from the Dell mailing list.
Nice.
So I was on the Dell mailing list at the time, and I had a lot of friends on there. So I spent a lot of time on there, and we had just opened up a website about 2 weeks before this with all our pictures. So we kept running into each other. So that was a fun night. So honorable mentions. Go ahead.
All right, I have 2, and you mentioned both. It was the Scott Stevens hit on Eric Lindros and the Marty goal.
Oh, what do you know? For me, I have a couple that we haven't talked about yet. One, again, a game I was at. I just wanted to mention this. It was Game 7 of the semifinals in 2001. The 2000 run nobody talks about. It was a 5-1 win over Toronto. It was 5 unanswered goals, including 2 by Eliash. Then there was, in 2003, we had the Grant Marshall triple overtime game winner against the Lightning.
Wow, I always forget about that one.
Well, here's what I remember about this one. I was up north with Sarah on the first period of that game. Okay? I listened to the radio call all the way home through regulation. And then I got home right in time for overtime and watched the entire overtime in my room. So really, it was like 2 games that day, and it was I think it was an ABC afternoon game.
Oh my god!
It was like an ABC game. It was really crazy, and it went into like prime time. So, and then going on in that year, we had the game. One of the best games that I think a lot of people forget about, one of my favorite games of all time, the New Jersey-Ottawa Game 7. With Jeff Friesen scoring the game winner with 2:14 left in regulation.
I do remember that one.
Oh my God. That was a long night, but it was a great game and a great moment because the Senators were so much better then.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, I remember the Senators, they were a thorn on our side for a couple of years there.
Yeah, they were a great team at that time. I'm still to this day stunned they never won a cup. They were that good. And finally, I have, because we already talked about Game 7 against the Ducks. We talked about that already. And for me, not only do I have the Henrique goal,